Hi, I'm Clint Arthur, and I want to thank you for your interest in the last year of your life, where our mission is to empower and instruct people just like you to gain iron will, self-confidence, destroy your inner limits, develop a powerful mind, and quit beating around the bush with your life so you can get the results you've been daydreaming of. Now, before he passed away, Steve Jobs told us something absolutely remarkable. He said, "Remembering that I'll be dead soon is the most important tool I've ever encountered to help me make the big choices in life. Because almost everything, all external expectations, all pride, all fear of embarrassment or failure, these things just fall away in the face of death, leaving only what is truly important." Now, there is no doubt that Steve Jobs changed the world, and that belief drove him to transform our daily lives. His relationship with death, knowing that his life could end at any moment, it made him wake up every morning eager to squeeze the juice out of life from every second he was given. What would you do if you knew 2012 was the last year of your life? The Mayans predict that the end of the world as we know it is coming on December 21st, 2012. What if they're right? How would you spend this last year of your life? I'm willing to bet that you would have a blast. Wouldn't you do all the things you've wanted to do since you were a kid but said, "I'll just do that someday"? Imagine the people you love. What would you do with them? Look, you would take all your ability, potential, and capacity for excellence that you know you have and actualize it, bringing it forth into tangible, empowering, real-life fact. Think about the power of that. You could start that business you've been daydreaming about, lose the weight, find your soulmate, travel the world, write the book, build the foundation. You could do those things you've been wanting to do and do it without fear, doubt, or hesitation because you know your clock is ticking. But why don't we live that way? What is it that's holding us back from diving head first into life like a Mexican cliff diver and giving it our all? It's like we think we have a contract to live forever. And we get trapped by a routine, a comfortable regimen of wake up, work, sleep, repeat. Wake up, work, sleep, repeat, over and over like some kind of robot. All those dreams, goals, opportunities, and possibilities that are all available to you get pushed into the realm of someday. Someday I'll start that business, make that donation, call that old friend, reignite that old flame, lose the weight. Someday I'm going to make it happen. The problem is that when you live in the realm of someday, someday never comes. I know what that's like because I've been there. Years ago, I realized that I was already dead. See, after I graduated from the Wharton Business School, I moved out to Hollywood to pursue my dream of becoming a filmmaker like my idol, Spike Lee. And after 10 years of knocking my head up against the brick wall of the Hollywood dream, I found myself one day freezing my butt off in a little tiny boat in Marina del Rey in the middle of winter. I crawled into bed with my favorite book. It was Angela's Ashes by my creative writing teacher in high school, Frank McCourt. And as I was reading that book that night by the flashlight, it was so cold, I could literally see my breath condensing in the air. And I started to cry because I had had so much potential in my life. I graduated from the same business school as Donald Trump, and yet for the past 5 years, I was driving a taxi to pay the bills, making $500 a week, while a lot of my fraternity brothers were directors at Goldman Sachs. Most of all, I was terrified that I was never going to be able to turn my life around. Well, from that point, I was a man on a mission. I had to change things. I had to get out of the rut that I had dug for my life. So I started doing all kinds of self-help work. I walked on fire with Tony Robbins. I did Toltec wisdom studies with Don Miguel Ruiz. I did Deepak Chopra, Carlton Sheets, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I did everything, including men's power circles. And slowly my life began to change. I got out of taxi driving and opened up a gourmet food company. I met a beautiful woman and got married. I started building houses during the real estate boom. I built 5 houses. And I became, quote unquote, fat and happy. The only problem was 2 things. Number 1, I was obese. When I was in high school, I wrestled on the New York City Public School Athletic Championship team at 145 pounds. By this point in my life, I was 236 pounds of obesity. And the other problem was that I had given up on my dreams of being a self-fulfilled and self-expressed artistic person. I stopped writing. Here I had studied creative writing teacher with the greatest living writer of our time, and I had quit on that dream of mine to become a best-selling author. Well, one day I was sitting in a men's self-help circle, and one of the men in the circle, he had been racked by rheumatoid arthritis. He used to play piano and keyboards in rock and roll bands traveling the whole world, but by this point, his hands were crooked into hooks. And his voice was all gravelly because he was constantly smoking marijuana for the pain. And he pointed at me and he said, "You don't know it yet, but you're already dead." And I didn't know what to think about that, but I could not stop thinking about what he said. I'm already dead. I'm already dead. What does that mean? I'm already dead. I could not stop thinking about it. I would wake up in the middle of the night. I'm already dead. What does that mean? I'm already dead. Well, some crazy things happened. I got elected to be the team leader of my little men's team. And on New Year's Day, I woke up, and like I would do every year on New Year's Day, I sat down to write my list of goals. And that morning, with that crazy man's voice echoing in my head, "You're already dead," I said to myself, hey, what would I want to accomplish this year if this was going to be the last year of my life? Well, that was an awesome question, because that year I lost 40 pounds without joining a gym or changing my diet. That year I built a factory for my gourmet food company that saved the business during the Great Recession. And most importantly, that was a 5-year terrified thing that I'd been avoiding. Like, I was just too scared to build that factory. That year, I wrote my book, which had been procrastinating inside of me for 10 years. My book, What They Teach You at the Wharton Business School. That year, I just knocked it right out. And then most importantly that year, my wife and I had been together for 7 years and things were getting rocky. But because it was the last year of my life, I had the courage to confront the tough issues. And we got into counseling, and we were able to turn things around to the point where we just celebrated our 10-year anniversary. I'm not the only one who had great results that year. There was a man on my team. He had been playing guitar and singing his whole life, and he had never recorded anything. But during the last year of his life, he recorded a whole album of original music, including the amazing song, The Last Year of Your Life, which you're going to hear later on in this series of videos. That year, we had one man who started the program with me with barely 2 nickels to rub together. And by the end of the last year of his life, he had found an investor, put together a business plan, and opened up a cupcake store in a major regional mall in Southern California. This past summer, his kids were working in the cupcake store. How awesome is that? And then there was another guy who had always dreamed of praying at his religion's holiest sites. That summer, he went with his religious group to the Middle East, and he did just that. Now, how do you put a price on getting healthy, or achieving artistic or business aspirations, or getting closer to your spouse, or your kids, or your God? Those are all priceless results. And, you know, it hasn't stopped there. You see, because that old man got me to move from living like a zombie to being fully alive. And after years of diligent work and research in human potential, I realized that there is much more to living than just breathing. See, the first step that you need to take if you want to come alive again, if you don't feel like you're getting everything out of your life, is awareness. You need to be aware that maybe you've got an issue about living kind of like zombie-like, not being fully engaged. And awareness of the problem is the first step to solving the problem. You know that, right? But sometimes it's not easy to become aware. So just take it from me. Let me be your crazy old man, right? Listen to what I'm saying. I'm saying you don't know it yet, but to some extent, you're already dead. So now you've got the awareness. The next step to coming alive is to let go. See, you have probably wasted years of your life not fully engaged. And the tendency is you're going to want to beat yourself up. You're going to want to say, oh, you're a piece of crap, you suck, you wasted all this time, you're lousy, you're not living up to your potential. You know what? You got to just let all that go. Just let it go. Because beating yourself up for your mistakes of the past is not going to help you to move forward in your life. The only way to move forward in your life is to let go of the past and to move on with the next step in coming alive, which is to inspire yourself. See, I went to the Wharton Business School, and the very, very first thing that I learned at the Wharton Business School is you need to have inspirational goals that will get you jumping out of bed in the morning. It's chapter 1 of my book, What They Teach You at the Wharton Business School, and yet it took that old man telling me that I was already dead for me to wake up and realize what I had paid so much money and spent so much time. And it was one of the greatest achievements of my life to graduate from the Wharton Business School. And I forgot the first thing that they already taught me. And that is you need to inspire yourself with great goals and inspirational things that you want to do in your life so that you are excited about your life again. Next, you have to visualize. Visualize. How are you going to make your inspirational goals a reality? Do you want to go pray at your religion's holiest sites? Well, you've got to figure out how to get the ticket to go to the right city. Like you've got to fly from, say, Chicago to Egypt, right? You've got to pull out the map and say, okay, what airline goes to Cairo? And then you've got to get on their website and book their ticket. You've got to do whatever you've got to do to visualize exactly how to make your inspirational goals become reality. That's the V. And the last step, energize. You need to take care of yourself so that you've got the energy to make all of your dreams come true. You've got to eat great food. You've got to get enough rest and sleep. You've got to exercise. You've got to give your body all the physical components of good energy that you're going to need for your trip, for your voyage through the last year of your life. And then, equally, if not more importantly, you've got to provide mental and spiritual energy for yourself. You have to hang out with positive people. You have to inspire yourself with inspirational quotes by great authors like Napoleon Hill and General Patton, people who will energize your mind and your spirit. Now, when you start being fully alive, you enter a completely new world of life, love, passion, and possibility. Imagine you can create any of the following: incredible self-esteem, empowering self-confidence, the freedom to choose an increased income or financial goal, strategize, work towards, and achieve it fully, and have a team to support your efforts, the ability to easily, comfortably connect with quality people and form deep, lasting, positive relationships, the ability to ask for something and get it. Awakening each day, calm, positive, and filled with an uplifted spirit, and expecting the coming day to be filled with success. Living with a genuine, surging motivation and confidence to start speaking up, acting up, and doing for yourself what you know you've been leaving up to others. And finding your true place in this world, your purpose, richly living it and enjoying all the relationships, money, joy, and fulfillment it connects you to. That's how I and tons of others have broken our undead zombie-like trance and stepped into the rich, blinding light of life. We did it because we figured out what it really means to be alive. And at last, so do you. So I'd love to hear what you think of this. Really, I want to know, how do you plan on becoming more alive today? And feel free to ask questions. Any questions you have will be answered personally by me. In the next couple of days, I'll be sending you a new video where I'll share what some of my good friends have accomplished by living the last year of their life. Now, I know that this sounds like an amazing amount of great stuff, and it truly is. But it's only possible because this is the last year of your life. And in the last year of your life, anything is possible. I'll see you in the next video, and I look forward to answering all your questions and reading your comments about how you're going to come alive today below.